So,
All right. We are here with Kailey Whipple from the Bloomley Agency. So, Kailey, thank you for joining me. I am Joe from Partner Owl. Um, we wanted to start a series for partners, primarily in the Salesforce ecosystem. And really, what it's meant to do is to talk about trends in the partner space, how to be a better partner with Salesforce, and what partners do, right? How can you expand and enhance and grow your partner alliance organization, be a better partner to your partners as well as to Salesforce? So, Kailey, with that, thank you for joining. Why don't you spend a couple of moments just talking about, introduce yourself, talk about Bloomley Agency, how you got started, because I think that's really important. And then we could sort of take the conversation from there.
yeah, definitely. Thanks for inviting me, Joe. I really love hearing people's stories of getting into the ecosystem because it always seems so random. I've just talked to like two people in the last couple of weeks who I didn't know that accidental admin was a thing. So it is a thing. It's like you just end up falling into the ecosystem, which is kind of cool. So I 5 years ago, I had a virtual assistant agency, and one of my clients was general manager at a Salesforce partner. And after working for him for a couple of years on contract basis, I ended up working at Blue Wolf, and then making my way through various roles there. So I was executive assistant, chief of staff to the CEO for a little while, and then worked in marketing for a year, which was really interesting. I got to project manage the state of Salesforce, get that big book project back on track, and ended up in an alliances role, which is where we met, which was awesome. And
Interesting is so you have this big company experience as well as your own company, and I think sometimes people love small companies. Sometimes people, my background has always been in larger companies, and so I think it's interesting that you've done both, and like where you find a lot of opportunity with that, because there's value and
yeah,
there's pros and cons to both, right?
totally. And I saw that, working in marketing and then in alliances is kind of this bridge between sales and marketing, because it's really a function of both roles. You are selling and you are marketing to your partner, and to your own internal team. So I saw a couple of challenges in that role where, first of all, sales and marketing weren't really talking to each other. Marketing had all these creative ideas, sales had all these specific needs, and there was this disconnect between the two. And I loved the alliances role, but I heard from a very influential friend of mine that it's really important to have a point of view. And I couldn't bring that from the role that I was in because our point of view was we can do anything.
That
And
sounds really familiar. Was that friend me?
it
Or
was.
was it
It was.
okay.
I actually know exactly where we were sitting when that conversation happened. But so yeah, and then the pandemic hit. I left IBM and I started doing some copywriting because I've always loved writing. I've always loved telling stories. I've always loved marketing in general. And through that copywriting experience, started working with other partners and writing copy and doing different marketing things for them. And then realized that this is the place I really want to be, is in this marketing in the partner channel, working sort of at the bottom of the funnel and creating messaging that's really powerful that helps brands set themselves apart. Messaging and marketing around that, and not just for customers, right? It's for Salesforce too, because Salesforce has all of these account executives and all of these people working on deals, and they know that they rely on partners to implement whatever licenses they sold. They need to make sure that that partner can do what their customers need. And so we help the partners basically understand what they can bring to the table and then clearly say that to Salesforce and to their customers, so that they're not just saying we can do anything. It's more like, no, we're experts in this MuleSoft integration for financial services or whatever it is.
So you touched upon a really important point there, which is I think account execs and people that haven't necessarily worked with the partner organization a lot think of partners in terms of solely in terms of implementation. And there's another sort of whole vector to that, which the partner sales organization is really interested in, which is sourcing new deals, influencing deals to close, how you can accelerate the deal cycle, and then bringing value to the customer via industry expertise, trends in the marketplace, those types of things. And so it's really important, and that's why when we talk about the point of view, it's really important that that's what that means, right? Of like, if you have something, you have a deep expertise in something, talk about it. Don't say that you're the best at X, because everybody's the best, right? So, how do you sort of
Everyone will
differentiate?
say it at least.
Right. So what kind of trends are you seeing then in the partner space, given the client base that you have and sort of the work that you've done to help them differentiate in the Salesforce ecosystem? What are you seeing?
A lot of people are asking us literally how they stand out. And I might have told you this story, but I posted something on LinkedIn at the beginning of the month and said, if you want to learn how to expand your ecosystem footprint, let me know. And someone literally like copied that and was like, I want to know how to expand my ecosystem footprint. Like, firms are trying to understand how they grow and how they take advantage of the ecosystem, or as you called it, the economy the other day, right? There's
the Salesforce economy, right?
So
right.
that's one thing. And then just understanding like how to talk to Salesforce and who they should talk to. That's been a big thing too. People are kind of like, there's so many people there. I could go scour LinkedIn, but I don't really know who I should even be looking for. And then what do I say to them once I get there? Hey, we're a new partner. It's probably not the best approach. So those are a couple of things. And then what should they be doing? Like, what should they specialize in is another. I love that question, because the answer really is like, what do you want to specialize in? It's answered with another question.
Well, it's a tough question, right? Because you don't want to exclude something that you're good at. If you say, well, I'm really good at, Service Cloud, that doesn't mean that you're going to exclude Sales Cloud practice, right? If you have something specific within those products that you're really good at, CPQ or something like that, analytics, it's really good to sort of, I think, play that up. And I think to your point about who to meet with at Salesforce, I think a lot of partners, in my experience, said they want to get to the account exec. And that's true. It's very valid.
Yeah.
What you say to the account exec is obviously important, but there's many other roles there that can help your journey in working with Salesforce, and creating a good brand and a positive reputation amongst that team.
Yeah, totally.
So where do partners need help? I mean, you mentioned how to specialize and that kind of thing. Like, if from a partner out perspective, where do I start, right? We talk about LinkedIn and we talk about marketing and creating content. What does that mean?
Basically, when you are trying to establish yourself as with a position, with a point of view, as an expert in something, LinkedIn is a great place to start. I see social media as a way to develop relationships with people that you need to develop relationships with, especially in this time that we can't necessarily get together. We can't go to Dreamforce. We can't, go get drinks and celebrate wins. So we have to have those conversations online. And so social media is a really great way to do that. And I think people are so used to, connecting with strangers now online on social media that it's very easy to do. But, outside of the relationship building part, like LinkedIn is such a great place that you can share what you know, even if you're just a couple steps ahead of someone else in your area of expertise. Break it down into a couple different steps, share one tip a day for a month, whatever it is. And you will start to get noticed. Like, people will see that you know what you're talking about. And if you say something that you think let's say you want to have a relationship with an account executive, and they're fairly young, they're fairly new to Salesforce. You can be like, hey, I just posted this thing that I think might help you talk to a bank that you need to go talk to next week.
Mhm.
And that kind of builds a relationship through, I'm here for you, I'm here to help. And it's a direct conversation that isn't just another email in their mailbox. um, and you can have that kind of rapport built online through just sharing what you know on a regular basis.
What you're talking about with content, and it took me a little while to get my head around this, but and you mentioned Dreamforce and cocktail receptions and parties and things like that, these networking events.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk into those things and walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Joe. I'm from Partner Al. I'm from whatever company you're with," and you start a conversation with them. And you all of a sudden you find out that you might have a common interest, or that you're sharing a point of view or an area of expertise as part of
Mm-hmm.
this event. And I know that I haven't sort of drawn the same parallel to those conversations that you can have at those events in person and posting it on LinkedIn, because I think one of the things that people struggle with, or companies struggle with, is pen to paper, or hands to a keyboard and just start posting,
Yeah.
right? Like what we talked about the other day was these LinkedIn influencers that they have digital market agencies, and they're huge on LinkedIn, and they say,
Yeah.
just start posting. Doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm guilty of it, right? But just start putting stuff out there and see the type of engagement you get, and you can sort of work at it from there, because it's such a huge community of let's say it's 800 million users, and only 30% actually post original content. So everybody else is sort of watching.
Yeah.
Um, you might have touched upon this earlier, but what are like sort of one or two or three pieces of advice that you could give to a partner that happens to watch this? And what are your sort of other things to think about, not only in terms of how to contact you, but in terms of how they're thinking about their practice?
So I, for any partner, I've learned that being really clear with your message is the most important thing. And it's with anything, right? When I talk to you about something, I have a certain message I'm trying to get across. I think we just get overwhelmed when when we think about it from a marketing standpoint, we think of, we don't want to we don't want to leave any business on the table. And you have to step back from that and say, this is what we do. Because the reality is, when you do everything, your resources, your people, everybody's too scattered. So you have to focus, you have to narrow down, specialize in something, and make sure that your message conveys that. So that's a big thing. And that's your message to your customers, to your employees, that they know what you're doing and how to talk to people, and to Salesforce. Um, the other thing is to build relationships. That's a key thing. There are so many people. I've been saying this a lot lately. I feel like I've said it like 6 times today even, but there is so much talent in the Salesforce ecosystem, and it's everywhere. Every single partner should be a trusted partner. Every single partner should have certified people. Everyone should be in the ecosystem for years. Like, all of that stuff is a given now. None of that stands out anymore. So you need to start like differentiating yourself through building relationships, not just your message, but like going out and meeting people. And going back to one of the things you said about just writing, just reach out to people on LinkedIn, because most people will connect with you if they see that they have something in common. It's a lot less invasive than actually going up to someone in a bar, in a cocktail party, and saying, hi, how's it going? Some people are like, I don't want to talk to you. But if it's
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, they have the choice to ignore you, or it's just like, oh yeah, I'll accept. And there's no pressure, right? So it's very easy to do. Follow them on Twitter, comment on their tweets. Just start building that relationship from a very minimal step-by-step basis, so that your name is in their mind, so that they're seeing you around in their world, right? In their online world.
So that sounds like something exactly that Bloomly can help with. So how do people get in touch with Kailey at Bloomly?
It is, yes, it's something we can help with. So you can email me directly at Kailey@bloomley.agency or go to the website, which is bloomley.agency, and just click the Let's Talk at the top.
Great. So I am Joe Cleaver, Joe at Partner Al. I will put the links to both of the companies as well as the contact information for us in the summary if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you see it on LinkedIn, it's probably coming from one of our company pages or our personal pages, so you can get in touch with us that way. So Kailey, thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you soon, and thanks for the time today.
Yeah, thank you. We'll talk to you soon.